Hey there, my friends. I'm trying to come on a little bit earlier today to see if I can catch some of my mamas that are having quiet time, coffee time. Here's a little coffee to have there with you a little earlier today. Seeing if you're all catching a minute, maybe finishing school and taking a break. I had a few things on my heart that I just wanted to share today and was hoping I could get the word out a little bit. I had a good chat on the phone with my sister yesterday. Well, we texted back and forth. It was as good as it got, so I'll take what I can get. And we kind of went back and forth about some of the ways we could help other people, like during crisis. I totally confided in her. Hi, Cayenne. You are so faithful to me, and I just love you so much. Anyway, she was challenging me to ask myself what I was working for, what I'm writing for, what I'm blogging for, what is it that I want to do next. I just found myself a little lost, a little trying to figure things out. And I don't know if any of you have seen that there's been a few media news articles going around that the number of CPS calls and social services calls for emergency situations has gone down over the past quiet quarantine. And you might be happy at the first minute of hearing that, thinking that that's a good thing. I want to tell you why that is not a good thing. It's because the children are not being seen, and it's because everybody is at home, and has been for a while, and there are people that are in tough situations right now, and people that needed help before we shut our state down and shut our nation down. And those kids were being seen and being heard and being taken care of in school, a lot of them. And now they're not able to do that. We weren't even at home. School wasn't even canceled for like 2 weeks. I think we had like 2 days home before our governor shut down schools for the rest of the school year. So in some ways I was grateful. It was like ripping a Band-Aid off. We didn't have to hang in there and wait every 2 weeks to see if we're going back, if we're going back, if we're going back, we're not going back. So we were able to make some plans and go ahead and decide what we were going to do for the rest of the school year. That means our kids are home for 5 months or more. Okay, so that's a lot of time. And I know there's a lot of teachers that are heartbroken over not being able to be there for their students. And I know those first couple weeks when I know Liam was at public school, and there are 23 kids in his one class. There's actually 2 first grades where he's at, and they each have 20-something kids in the class. And I knew all of them were not necessarily in a great situation, and we did reach out to the school and the principal, and we have a food drive going with our church that we're able to participate in. But there were some nights I would go to bed and I would literally imagine these kids, maybe without heat, maybe without food, maybe in a scary situation. And of course, that's near and dear to our hearts. Our kids, our 2 adopted kids, are definitely going through, there's a lot of trauma that came with a huge change. We all were shocked by it, but the last time they had a huge trauma in their life literally fell apart. So there's something to be said about trauma when you've already had those type of triggers. So we had a few rough weeks in there, and we're still working through some stuff. It doesn't just go away. It doesn't just fix itself, all the things. All that to say is the calls aren't coming in because the helpers can't see right now. And there are a lot of people that need help right now. So one of the amazing things about the internet is you can get out information to other people very quickly. There's a lot of people that would be paralyzed by, what do I do? What can I do? The problem is so big, I can't do anything. But the truth is you can do something. You really can. Right now, I know, I don't know if you're familiar with Dr. Karen Purvis. She's gone on to her reward, unfortunately. She's the most amazing woman who, she wrote the book, The Connected Child. I meant to bring a copy in with me literally last night. I was thinking about going live about this. Any of you that have read The Connected Child, it will change your life forever. She developed the concept of TBRI, and that is trust-based relational intervention. It's an amazing concept for trauma, abuse, neglected, any kind of a broken relationship. It's an amazing, incredible science-based way of how to reach people that have been hurt through trauma, specifically children. But the things that you learn through not just the book, The Connected Child, but they created an entire institute. They literally have, I think it is called like Karen Purvis Institute. I'm sorry, I don't have that right, but I do have a website for you, and I want to send you there because between now and June 30th, you can take that course free online. This is so incredible that they are offering this. Some of my foster moms have been messaging me and letting me know about it. They're taking a refresher. The things that you can learn from this is incredible. And this is not just for moms. It's not just for foster moms. I mean, teachers, caseworkers, parents, grandparents especially. I just want to make a plea for these grandparents. It is such an amazing way to learn the science and the way the brain develops through trauma and triggers and abuse and neglect. And reading through the book or taking the training will literally open your eyes. I had a great childhood. My parents were amazing. They were raised by parents in a generation that children are not heard. They are only seen and not heard, and they don't talk about feelings or emotions. And I do feel like we kind of swung the opposite side of the pendulum through the past whatever time frame we've been through. But the truth is they were raised in a way that you don't talk about that. So that was awkward for them. And they had 3 girls. So they did the best they could, and they were so faithful with us, and they spent time with us, and we had such a good relationship. We have an entire generation that has not had that. And so for grandparents to now look at children the way that they are now, there are 500,000 children in the foster care system right now, never mind the ones that have not come in to care, the ones that have not been gone through our social services platform, anything like that. There are many, many children in our nation that are suffering from abuse and neglect. And what that looks like in behavior and brain reaction and all those things is incredible. You could be afraid of it. You could be overwhelmed by it. I know even when I was reading the book, The Connected Child, there were days that I had to put it down because I could not emotionally handle anymore. It's a lot. It really is a lot. And this is a time when people might be going through heaviness. But I just really want to challenge you. Don't be paralyzed by it. You can do more. You can be involved, and you can learn, and you can take the first step and then just take the next step and take the next step. So yeah, maybe you'll just get through one chapter at a time. You don't even have to buy the book. Take the course. The videos are incredible, and literally you could be certified by the time you're done with this in the TBRI training. You can get a certificate. You would have completed something. It is almost like a college course. It's emotional. It's all the things, but it is so eye-opening. And it's amazing to be able to learn something like that because it will enable you to help other people. It will enable you to understand people better. It will enable you to help more. And there are so many people that know that they're not called to foster and they're not called to adopt, and that's okay. There are so many other ways to help, and there were times I needed a non-foster mom and a non-foster family or adoptive family to come in and help me. I needed them to be available. So there's no judgment from me there. There's me saying, like, this is an incredible opportunity to find this course and take it online for free, even if for the understanding of knowing where these people are coming from. Because if you ever want to volunteer, if you ever want to help, if you ever want to get your hands dirty and you just want to bring a meal, what if you want to help a child, do with their homework after school, and just take one child, why are they acting the way they are? How does their brain think? How can you help them? The whole trauma-based approach to healing a child is based on their original relationship, the God-given relationship that they had, that they were given their parents, God-given parents, and for whatever reason, that relationship was broken. They were either ripped from their home, taken from their home, and that might have been the very best thing for them, but it's not. And when you create that trauma, it has to be such a life-changing experience if you can imagine being taken from that and what that would do to you. So the trauma-based approach is completely based on relationship. When our little guy came to us on our doorstep, he did not know us. He was scared to death. He had already been in another home for a couple weeks, and that wasn't going very well. He only knew anger. He knew fear, all the things that he'd been taken from, and he didn't know. He didn't know if we could take care of him. He didn't know if he could trust us. So the whole approach is based on earning that child's trust. You can't do anything with that child until you have earned their trust. And they need a safe adult in their life that they know that they can trust. Without that, they cannot heal. So the course literally walks you through it. It's videos, and you watch the videos. You can even buy the book if you want. The Connected Child is amazing. But the fact that they're offering this for free right now is my heart's cry challenge to say, yeah, I'm using it as a refresher, because I know there's a few things that I have just completely forgotten. I completely don't practice anymore, but they work, and it's amazing. And to see the change that you can reach a child, you can just change your wording. You can just get them to look at you. And when you see them respond, when you see that you've made a connection, that's where it comes from, the connected child. They cannot heal until they have a lifeline. I mean, when you think about somebody in the ocean, or, they're literally drowning, and they cannot be saved until you give them a lifeline. These kids are stuck in the water until someone comes and connects with them. So maybe that's not in your home, maybe that's not forever, but there are ways to connect with these kids. And learning the science behind it is so incredible. It will blow your mind. It is unbelievable what trauma and abuse and neglect can do to your brain. This is scientific. We're talking MRIs, comparisons between trauma children versus healthy, stable children. It's incredible what you can learn, and it will change your thinking. It will change your compassion. Even the grandparents that maybe want to help this next generation, but they don't know how. You don't have to foster, and you don't have to adopt. Maybe you will, because once you realize your hands are dirty and you're in there and you see teenagers that just need a home and just need a parent, I don't know how you can help yourself, but even if that's not where you're at, that's okay too. There are so many ways to help, and the first step is understanding, and the first step is bridging that gap to the unknown, because they do have behaviors that we don't understand. They do things that we don't understand. Our little guy, he acted more like an animal than he did a little boy when we got him at 4 years old. And now at 7, he's been with us for 2.5 years, and there are days that I think we could almost look like a normal family, except we have so many kids and so much craziness. And there are so many ways that you can learn how to understand where these kids are coming from. They just need someone to understand. So I really want to encourage you, if you have a minute, crack open that browser. I'll put the link at the bottom of the comments when we're done here, and you can click through that thing. Just look at it. Just get started. Just do something, or just go on Amazon and order The Connected Child, or see if it's available online through the library. There are so many ways you can open your mind to figuring out where you can help, instead of being paralyzed by, I can't do this, I'm overwhelmed, it won't make a difference. It's all lies. You can make a difference just by taking one step, just by taking the first step. And sometimes that's just learning more. What if you learned enough that you were able to look at that mother in the supermarket where her child is having an absolute meltdown, and you don't know now if it is trauma, you don't know if they're just having a tantrum, who knows? but you probably can tell by looking. And you can look at her with compassion, and you can look at her with kindness, and you can understand what she's going through, and you can say a prayer for her, and you can look at her knowing you can respect what she's living in. It is a whole nother world that needs to be exposed, and I just invite you all to take that time to get online and see that course. It will change your life, I promise. So I think I would want to share that with you all, because at the brass tacks of it, that is my why when it comes to Project Hope. And that's why we have started Project Hope. And that's why we are pushing so hard to make this thing happen. Because when we realize the effect of the trauma of removing those children from their home. Now, in our situation, I do believe it was what was best for our kids. They needed that. They needed mom and dad to get a chance to get themselves together. They needed time to heal on their own. It was very messy. It was very difficult. It was very dark. And they needed that time and space for everyone to breathe. Unfortunately for us, they were not able to create a safe environment and make changes that would allow the kids to go back safely home. And that's why our kids ended up adopted. And for so long, we grieved. Like, don't get me wrong, this is a beautiful process. Adoption is a beautiful thing. But what that means is that there already has been a loss. Somebody already lost. A family that God ordained has broken apart. And to pick up those pieces and put them back together in a new way, because they can't ever go back the way that they were before, is a very difficult, dark, and painstaking process. So our thought was, what if? What if we could keep the family together? What if we could keep the kids together? What if we could keep that mother with her children, to keep her why and to keep her reason why she would want to keep hanging in there, why she would want to do better? What if we could teach her how? Living in a long-term home that was faith-based and it was safe, and that's where she was learning her recovery, but she was there with her children, learning how to speak kindly to them. Everybody's getting the therapy they need. Everybody's getting the food that they need. Everybody's getting the training that they need. When you have a full approach to that and you're building that communication and you're building that relationship, everybody wins. Then the family stays together. Then they win. Then they heal. And that is not the case with all of that. It is not. It will not be the case every time. Unfortunately, sometimes when domestic violence gets hotline calls, sometimes the children are already removed from the home and there isn't anything we can do with that. But maybe we can. And maybe we can get that family back together, and maybe we can get them what they need. And that's what Project Hope does. Literally, the stores that we're going to have will be participating, either volunteers or women that are in the program will be participating and helping and learning life skills, and people will donate and people will drop off. Ours is going to have a coffee bar just because I think coffee makes everything better, and why wouldn't you want to have coffee? And I just think it's one of those necessary things in life. But on top of that, that's where we're going to be. That's where the women are going to be working in the program. And that money just continues to go straight back into funneling the home where these women and children live, and the volunteers that it takes to get them the therapy that they need and the training that they need. A lot of them don't know how to do laundry. A lot of them don't know how to speak kindly to their children. A lot of them don't know how to cook food. So that's where we come in and we stand in the gap and we bridge the gap between what they don't know and what they need to know in order to be successful and empowered. So all that money turns around and goes right back to fuel the home that is literally healing them and saving them. So it's an incredible model of how to heal and how it does take a village. So really that's the why of the t-shirt club too. So I did have to put a plug in for that for today. Today is the last day for the May cart that you can sign up. So we launch the last 5 days of every month. And that just means that's the window of time. If you want to join, this is what you're joining. You're literally going to get a surprise package in the mail every month. It's going to have a t-shirt in it. Every month it's going to be a different design. I'll show you the first one we ever made. How convenient. This is how we started. And some of you don't even have yours yet because we haven't even had our adoption dedication service yet. But I have a few in my office that I finished, but I did not send out yet. We have so many more to do. But this was the first one that went out, and that was my training and my pilot to see if it was gonna work for us, like if we could actually do it. So you get the t-shirt in the mail. And the first time you order, if it's your first month, you're actually going to get a picture frame that comes in with your t-shirt as well. And that will have the verse that belongs with whatever the t-shirt slogan is for that month. So you'll already have the verse inside of it for the first month. Every month after that, you'll just get a new card that goes along with the new verse with the new t-shirt, and that'll get tucked into your picture frame. You just swap it out. You can keep it by your nightstand. You can keep it in your bathroom when you're doing your makeup. You can take it to your desk, wherever you're spending time, maybe at the kitchen sink, where you're just gonna meditate on that verse for the month. And there is a devotional that goes along with it. Whatever the verse is each month has a fresh devotional. So if you're in the club, you're also going to get an email, and that has a downloadable, printable PDF for that verse. And we just totally break it down, and we challenge you and love on you, and you can print that off as many times as you want. Let it help you remember the verse and go through it and grow the tribe that way. So the T-shirt of the month club, 100% of the profit that we make off of the t-shirts goes directly to fund Project Hope. So if you're looking for a way to support and you're out of state, if you're looking for a way to be a part and you just don't know how, hey, if you like t-shirts, then this is for you. You're going to get a great t-shirt, and you're going to be supporting Project Hope at the same time. The designs that we make for the T-shirt club are not available on the store yet. You can't get it any other way yet. We're not going to release those, just to keep it special for all of our people that have jumped on board with Project Hope and the T-shirt of the month subscription club. Let me show you paper. So look how cute that downloadable is. So this is what you guys would literally be getting as part of the subscription club. This happens every month. Once you purchase one time, it's just an auto ship after that, so you don't have to buy again. You don't have to remember anything. It just auto ships after that, and you just keep getting your packages in the mail and keep getting all the goodness in the mail. And it's a really cute bag too, but I didn't bring a bag to show you. And once those run out, I'll pick a different one. So I guess I probably shouldn't show you. It should be a surprise. So anyways, I just want to encourage you what our why is, for the T-shirt of the month club, why that came to be, because we wanted an online platform to be able to let people help for Project Hope and to be a part. So I just really encourage you, if you're looking for ways to get through this season, it's coming to an end pretty fast. I know some states are even starting to open, and some things are already starting to change. So I just want to ask you, did you get everything out of it that you wanted to? And if you're like me, you have more things to do at home now that stay-at-home orders. Like, I'm so insanely jealous, sort of people that are not home with other people, and they don't have 9 people in their house, and they don't have to worry about 6 kids in their schooling, and they don't have to run businesses from outside of their home. I know everyone has their own challenges, and there's upsides and downsides to everything, but I'm watching all these people like, yeah, I just read this amazing book, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I really wish I could read a book. Like, I can't even crack it open by the time I go to sleep at night. So there's both sides to everything. So for this learning, I just want to encourage you, this training for TBRI and trauma-informed care and the Connected Child and the Karen Purvis Institute, all those things. I'll put the link in the comments because watching that and refreshing that is truly life-changing. It will open your eyes. So you could set yourself a goal and just click the link, and you could just start there and just read one and watch one training and see how you do. But I would really encourage you, when you don't know where to help and where you don't know how to help, and it can just seem like it is so awful out there, don't believe the news and don't believe the media, because there are sad stories out there, but you can change things and you can make a difference. It might not be the way you thought, it might not be how you thought, but if you woke up with breath today, you have a purpose. And there is a reason for you being here and doing that thing. And I just really want to encourage you, if you are overwhelmed and burdened down from all the negative things that you're seeing online, and you're in a hard place in your life, truly, truly do the next thing. You might not know how, but just do the next thing and see what happens. Sometimes not thinking about ourselves and thinking outside of ourselves, it opens a whole nother world for us. And when we get out of this, let me tell you something, there are going to be more phone calls. There are going to be more complaints. There are going to be more community needs. So even when we're allowed to go back out into the real world, you're only going to see more of it hands-on. But guess what? If you've learned something and you've come out of the other side knowing a little bit more, maybe what your neighbor's going through, maybe knowing what your foster families are going through, maybe your adoptive family, that trauma doesn't just end because they get adopted. It doesn't. It just keeps going. It's a process. And most of us spend our entire lives working through the next trigger and the next trauma that happens. I mean, it's just the way life is. Until we get to the other side, we're not ever going to be truly healed. I mean, there's peace and there's love and there's joy, but the reality is we're always going to be working through something. So I just encourage you, instead of being frozen in fear, do something about it. Do something that will make your life better. Do something that will change your situation for the better. And it can start right here just by learning something new. So again, the club closes, the cart closes at midnight tonight for May's shirt. It's super special. I would love to see you there. We still have some spots. My goal is just a little short, but we have until midnight tonight. So if you love t-shirts, if you want to help with Project Hope, if you're trying to help and you don't know how, first do yourself a favor and review that training, but also please just jump on board with the T-shirt of the Month subscription club. I would love to have you in there. It's a really special group of people that we have. If t-shirts are not your thing, or you just can't really swing it at this time, no worries, no problem. You could tag a friend, you can share it, you can like it. There's a million ways you can help support Project Hope, and I know so many of you have seen firsthand addiction and substance abuse and all the things. And what if you could change it? What if you could help it? What if you could stop it by supporting a family to stay together, or working somebody through their darkest time? You don't have to go on, you don't have to foster, you don't have to adopt, but there's a million ways you can help, and you can start here. So I love you guys so much, and thank you for hanging in there with me. I hope you got something out of this. I hope you do take advantage of that training, and I also do hope we can see you at the Subscription of the Month Club. Cart closes at midnight tonight, so I'll hope to see you on the other side. Take care.